Omega.
Hey. Hey Omega.
Hey, Omega.
Hey Omega.
Hey, Lincoln, I don't think Omega's here.
Well, now what do we do?
We're live, aren't we?
Well, of course we're live.
Well, what do you do when you have someone who's quote-unquote injured?
The show must go on.
Yeah, the show must go on. Alright, let's start the show. And welcome to episode 139 of Wooo Get Serious. My name is Gunnar, and that should be Omega BR.
No.
It's not yet, but joining us this week, once again, is a wonderful technical producer, Mr. Yanko DS.
I just woke up from a nap and I had a wonderful dream.
What was that?
They didn't get another deal.
Well, I mean, come on, we'll talk about that in a second here, but, yeah, there's other more important news results, and that is the things that we ignored in the weeks that we've been gone, because I've been out of town, or I've been busy. Mostly it's been me. I apologize. Also, our TeamSpeak seems to have changed, so if you wanted to join us, the normal 420 chan TeamSpeak does not exist anymore, apparently. We'll be tweeting out where you can join us on TeamSpeak later on, where you can check us out on the 420 channel board. So, let's get started with the news. WWE's third quarter's results revealed 731,000 network subscribers as of September 30th, a net gain of, at least it's a gain, 31,000. Since launching, the network has attracted 900.
Well, this is not a very auspicious restarting of the show after a couple of weeks break. First, Omega's not ready, and we get on the air, and now Gunner's microphone is going out. Fuck it, I'll do it live. Let's see here. It was a net gain of 31,000 since launching. The network has attracted 971,000 unique subscribers, with 75% remaining active. There's no longer a 6-month commitment, and any new subscribers this month received November free. Less than 30 minutes before launch time for the UK last Monday, it was delayed indefinitely, rumored to be due to Sky Sports and contract exclusivity issues. Money in the Bank drew 99,000 buys compared to 199,000, and SummerSlam drew 147,000 buys from 296,000, and Night of Champions only drew 48,000 to 178,000, or 135,000 rather. WWE stock took a big hit after these earnings release, down 7.91% to $12.22. Also, an official statement has been released by the company about SmackDown moving back to Thursdays beginning January 15th. Yeah, maybe we started. And then then it promptly, like, crashed or had an aneurysm or something.
So are we on the air right now?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for telling me.
Well, it's Gunner's fault, because I was like, are we ready? And Gunner's like, yeah, we're ready. And I was like, okay, is Omega ready? And he's like, yeah, Omega's ready. And then he promptly roboted and crashed out as soon as we started the news.
Alright,
So, WWE stock down almost 8%. Not good. But, I mean, you expect the buy rates to go down. You expect the buy rates to go down with the whole network thing going on. And since that's seeing an increase, it's only 31,000, but, I mean, 31,000 people is nothing to thumb your nose at.
31,000. Well, 31,000 is the number of people that have, has been added since the last time they announced numbers. I mean, we're moving away from the pay-per-view numbers, so them splitting in half like that is half the people that would normally buy these pay-per-views moving over to the network, which isn't terribly surprising. So this money scandal that they're working on here, it's working.
I think it'll pay off in the end.
Yeah, it will. I mean, like, if they just keep building and they keep doing what Netflix did, and adding pretty much their entire library to the entire service, I think that everybody will be happy. I've noticed that they have been making a push to put more things onto the network, but I don't know. I'm still abstaining from purchasing it. I don't feel that the need to have this as another subscription service for myself. Maybe if I was still, doing things in the business and whatnot, I would, but I don't see a reason for myself to right now. So, WWE also went down to $12.2. Okay, so, Omega, are you back yet?
I wasn't aware we had started, so, but yes.
Oh. Okay.
But yes, I am here. Geez, you take a short 3-week break and you can't get the. Anyway.
Yep.
It might take another week.
All right, we're all here. We're good. All right, so the thing of it is, that's not. I mean, they're not going to make $1 million by the end of the year. That's pretty much for sure, unless they manage to fix this UK thing and there's this big surge of subscribers. But we've said it before. I mean, the two key things wrong with the network. Number one, they need to add more archival footage. It's great to have every pay-per-view, but then people also want to relive the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars by actually watching the Nitros and the Raws and everything. And then number two, they need more original content. No network can sustain itself on just archival footage. Even TV Land, the network that plays old episodes of Roseanne and the Brady Bunch, even they have original shows now, and they actually do pretty well. So, and the thing of it is, they have a wealth of talent to even something simple, the things they used to do. A talk show with Adam Rose or something, guys they don't even use on the road anyway.
I would be okay with a talk show.
Well, they need a couple things. And the first thing, they need to get rid of this pre-show, post-show format and go with a straight-up ESPN style show that airs every day at a certain hour, produced by them. I think that they could do that. I understand there's an expense in that, but at the same time, you have you have Byron Sexton, you have, and Booker T and a bunch of other people just sitting in the office, shooting the shit for a day. And then that show plays, the entire day. And then you could also have some other kind of Total Divas. Why isn't Total Divas on the network? Is it on the network?
Well, it is, but it debuts on E, and then and that's and that even the financial analysts have pointed this out. The bulk, except for pay-per-views, the bulk of their original content is available for free on other channels, Raw, SmackDown, Total Divas. So, that's obviously a problem. And I think you might have a point there, because there are things like the NFL Network and the NHL Network that are networks sustained purely, essentially, by, game seasons that aren't year-round. And then what you have is you have a ton of analysts, you have a ton of, sort of these Sports Center-style things where, anchors keep the viewer abreast of what's going on in the league, and even if it's the same, even if they record it and they play it, 20 times during the day because there's nothing else to report, at least it's something.
Like one of those, like Livewire used to be, or oh god, I'm just thinking back to the old USA Saturday morning shows, where they were basically just recap shows hosted by Michael Cole in the goddamn production booth. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Make Miz TV a thing. Why not?
Maybe just make it be like the TMZ and have them report on like bad backstage news. For no reason.
The catch-22 with the network is that you've effectively reduced so many costs to make it viable, but in order to see growth, you need to spend more to create these programs and create that interest, because the reality is, if you thought that the network itself, with the pay-per-views and everything, was going to sustain itself, that's obviously not the case. It's been a thing for, 9 or 10 months now. It's reached almost every international market it can. Not all of them, obviously. The UK's situation, like I said, but if you're expecting 2 to 3 million subscribers, it's just not viable. At least not in its current state.
So did somebody say bad news for no reason? Hello.
Oh, then there's this guy.
Oh, the gang's all here. Now we got a show. Now we're back.
Now we got a show. All right.
Now I'm less frazzled.
Well, now that
just like to say one thing before we begin, although you've already begun. Pringles? No. That's the only thing you can do. You can just eat your chips. You can't do anything else with them. You can't use them for a prophylactic. You can't use them for writing paper. That's all you can do with your chips, is just eat them.
I have no idea what that's a reference to, but I'm pretty sure I'm offended.
Their new ad campaign.
Oh, well, I could probably compare them to your mom then. Just saying.
Burn.
Well, as long as we're, back and everything, as long as we're getting back into the swing of things, let's talk about the company who always gets back into the swing of things. That's Total Nonstop Action. And in the weeks we
By in the swing of things, do you mean like a noose around their neck and they're hanging?
Or Cesaro sneaking Dixie Carter and just swinging her around and bumping her into big concrete poles, just like bashing her head.
Sweet cherry.
I'd like to have Dixie bump off my big concrete pole.
Coming forward to carry me home.
Chariots don't swing, dude. I never got that.
Well, it's death, and then there's TNA, so there you go.
I think it's like a euphemism. Like, swing by and pick me up. Nobody's really, like, getting on a swing and coming by to get you.
Yeah, but you mean a chariot, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Will you do me a favor, and will you break the big news?
Well, there were rumors for the past 3 weeks or so, and then wouldn't you know, on this very day when we come back, it was made official that TNA announced their new TV deal with Destination America, a Discovery-owned network in 52% of households with a previous top audience of around 440,000. In other TNA-related Staying Power news, it's expected Kurt Angle will stay with the company and finish his career there after the WWE talks have ceased, although it would be on a more limited schedule that would see him focus on other projects, namely acting. Ethan Carter III suffered a torn biceps and will likely be out of action around 6 months following a surgery. Global Force Wrestling officially announced that production of Wrestle Kingdom 9 and that the much-rumored announcer for the show would be Jim Ross, calling the event live at ringside. Ring of Honor reached an agreement with New Japan for their talent to appear on the show, specifically the tag team champions, Red Dragon. Although ROH is said to be cracking down on talents having a relationship with other indies, particularly PWG, with certain higher-ups, believing they perform harder there for less money. And in fact, Jay Repsol of Dreamwave Wrestling tweeted Tuesday night that contracted ROH talents, that is, those under contract, are now no longer allowed to do any independent events at all.
Wow, can they afford that? I mean, the independent contractors.
Probably not.
Damn.
Now, we're talking about contracted talent, so that's probably the Briscoes, not the Young Bucks. No, I'm drawing a blank, but, not like a quarter, maybe a quarter or a third of the roster, but not the entire roster. But anyway, let's Destination America. I've actually watched a little bit of Destination America, and they tend to have all the B shows that are sort of copies of more popular shows. So I think TNA will fit right in. Shows like Buying Alaska and Amish something or other. And
so basically, what you're telling me is that it's Discovery Light.
Well,
or ESPN the Ocho.
It basically practices the 3 A's. That's Amish, aliens, and Alaska. That's what every show is about.
Amish, aliens,
Nice. Here's some statistics, by the way, that I've figured out from this particular TV program. So Spike TV, did you know, is in 50 million homes, right? 93% coverage of the nation. Do you know how much coverage Destination America has?
Not mine.
5 million homes.
Oh, boy.
53% of the
Ouch.
country.
How is that not a basic cable channel, though?
Well, no, it's like...
But it's Discovery Plus Plus.
Yeah, it's
a
like
shit show.
Another tier.
I mean, they give you E for free. But anyway, can we just take a second to point out that you guys kept telling me that Kurt didn't want to go to WWE because they would have had him working a reduced schedule where he would have... No, you guys said a reduced schedule. They wouldn't want him on there all the time.
Kurt wanted to work a reduced schedule. The WWE offered him a full schedule.
Legends contract, that sort of thing.
They offered him a full one, probably because they knew he wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess I got confused then.
Yeah, so it's too bad about Ethan Carter. Especially because they have this new deal, and he's sort of one of their featured attractions at the moment. To go back to Destination America for just a second, it's sort of it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because they are essentially becoming the new marquee attraction of Destination America, and it sounds like they will be allowed to do different things, not just Impact. They can have another show, possibly. They can have specials. And they can be catered to in that respect. Because remember, Impact does draw usually around 1 million people a week. That being said, I think it's a bad thing because the last thing they really need is to go to somewhere else and have someone, kiss their rumps and, basically let them do whatever they want. They need somebody to kind of come down on them and say, no, you can't do this. No, you got to control that. Whether it's the network or Dixie's parents or whomever.
Or Dixie herself, for that matter, yes. So the last real bit of news here is good old JR with the GFW. So does Global Force even have their own talent pool yet, their own roster? Or is this going to be strictly ROH or New Japan?
GFW doesn't have their own roster per se at the moment. However, it is highly affiliated right now with New Japan Pro Wrestling, and in lieu of their own product, they're basically presenting New Japan Wrestling to the American audience at this particular juncture.
I'm okay with this.
I would really hope that we would see El Patron in GFW, because that would be wonderful. Just saying.
Is there a chance you think of that happening?
Could be. Well, we'll actually talk about El Patron here in a minute or so.
But first, more are now talking, if not when, regarding Daniel Bryan returning to wrestling, as it looks like
right, you whack-a-mole.
I don't even understand why he pressed the button.
Wait, was that not cheering?
That was cheering.
It was supposed to be cheering.
Are you supposed
Why
to?
would you cheer?
Are you being
because if not when,
You
him
have
coming back.
bro.
Oh shit! Damn it!
If
Fuck!
he comes back, not when he comes back.
Damn it!
Oh,
Fuck
you
my
screwed
life.
that up so hard, your neighbors are going to feel...
See, you wonder why I'm so confused.
You take a simple 3-week hiatus.
Everything just goes to shit.
Today. You're falling asleep today, bro.
Literally.
Well, but anyways, so yeah, Daniel Bryan, if not when. Bo Dallas will be out 6 to 8 weeks due to a foot injury, and Zack Ryder needs surgery to repair a torn rotator cuff, which could possibly put him out 6 months, as John Cena mentioned. Rey Mysterio was backstage at Raw 2 weeks ago, personally met with Vince McMahon over his status, the first time the two have talked since he left. Dave Meltzer reports that Rey made it clear he does not want to return and wants to break from wrestling. The Great Khali also was moved to the alumni section of WWE.com, and it has been confirmed that he is not currently with the company. Apparently there was something wrong with his legs or something or another, but I think I read that somewhere else.
Well,
I think it was his knees.
Yeah, with how big he is, Kali has always been, a double-edged sword with us. When he first got here, he was really amazing, and then, he was just tall, and so there you go.
I don't know that Cully was ever really amazing. I mean, he was definitely probably the biggest guy we've ever seen, and that was cool. But as far as, in-ring action, the guy was never really good.
Well, the only good I've ever really seen him do is his first 6 months. He was in the WWE, he jumped the top rope, so when that quit happening, okay.
You don't expect somebody like that to stay healthy long, to be honest.
The reality is, he's not going to be world champion again. His last match was a loss to Rusev. I think he made his money, and he kind of... I don't know how legitimately famous he is over in India, but because of the WWE.
Word has it that he is fucking over in India.
See, I've heard that, and then I've also heard he's over, but he's not nearly as over as people say. Like, he's popular because he's Indian, but he's not the John Cena of India or anything.
I'm in my head imagining the John Cena of India, and wow.
But I digress. It's extremely bad news about Bryan. I've heard they've also even started reducing his merchandise at live events by 60% to kind of move it. It's not necessarily a bad sign, because they've done the same thing with like Mysterio and Ryder's gear. I think they're just trying to get rid of the back inventory.
Because they expected to spell more because he's supposed to be on TV more. That's the problem. Same with Mysterio and Ryder.
But it doesn't sell as much because they only bring 2 sizes to the live shows. And then all of the one size that anyone over the age of like 3 can fit into are sold out, and then nobody buys the rest.
I wonder. Because, they're probably not bringing the double and triple XL to the event.
I've been watching a lot of Gabriel Iglesias lately, and it's like they don't have fluffy sizes at all.
So
they don't have normal guy sizes.
Just so I know, that's not a relative of Julio Iglesias, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
Okay.
Ryder's gone. I'm calling it now. He's still around at all. Kind of baffles me. And I don't hate the guy or dislike him or whatever, but I just don't see them keeping him around.
We'll see. Well, no, you don't count your chickens.
Yeah, I mean, if they haven't gotten rid of him yet, then you kind of have to wonder. But we'll see, like you said. Speaking of Iglesias, Alberto El Patron reached an agreement with the WWE that he would not publicly disparage the company in exchange for being released from that U.S. no-compete clause. And he actually made a surprise appearance with Ricardo Rodriguez at the House of Hardcore pay-per-view from the arena in Philadelphia. He's also said that he will sign companies with two companies with TV deals in 2015, likely Lucha Underground and possibly even TNA, now that they have a TV deal with Destination America. The Rock, as we mentioned, they teased a match with him at WrestleMania, but he is unlikely to compete after signing on for a buddy picture with Kevin Hart and the promotion of Furious 7 that will occur around that time. A Scooby-Doo WrestleMania sequel is likely for the WrestleMania 32 season, with Hulk Hogan joining the cast. And interesting to note that Brock Lesnar's current deal with the WWE ends days after WrestleMania 31, and there are rumors that he would indeed like to return to mixed martial arts.
Oh, this guy, I swear.
No, don't worry about it. He'll come back. He'll get his face punched. He forgot that he doesn't like having his face punched. So he'll get his face punched, and then it'll be over. That's not.
He doesn't like any part of himself punched, especially his stomach.
Well, yeah, that's what I was about to say. Somebody will punch him in the stomach, and he'll die. And
well, I wouldn't go that far, but it'd be great to see Alberto back on something. Who knows? I thought he might have a better fit if him and Roberto Rodriguez went to Lucha Underground. Ricardo. Sorry. Remember Ricky Ricardo. Okay, Ricardo Rodriguez. Ricky. Okay, got it. But anyway, Lucha Underground's been impressing me, even though it's only an hour show that at most has 3 matches on it per night. So, yeah, it's getting good. And I don't know about TNA, but all I do know is I have to see that House of Hardcore pay-per-view.
Well, the pop, I watched the YouTube of the pop that El Patron got when he came out, which was pretty fucking cool. And I also recently watched the Ricardo Rodriguez RF shoot, and it's an interesting take on things that are going on. And then earlier today as well, I saw a little bit of Alberto talking about Punk, and basically he says that for the Punk situation, he completely respects Punk for doing what he did because he stood up for what he believed in. Yeah. And it's a pretty cool little clip. I'll probably link it somewhere on my Twitter or something.
So, at this point, just to steer clear of this and ask a totally out of the blue question. Punk going anywhere else ever? No. Yes?
Don't even include him in a conversation with professional wrestling until he shows up on a television set. Period.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not gonna tease it. He's not gonna suggest it. You know, that's kind of where he's at. And really, to say otherwise is you know, it's not really worth the speculation because that's the kind of guy he is. But
in the meantime, he's got Thor to look forward to.
Yeah, he signed a deal to write an edition of Thor. Is that right?
The annual, yes, big story. We'll see if he gets a full-time contract with the... I was about to say WWE, but no, Marvel Comics from there. Anyway, moving right along.
Be better than Bendis.
Damn straight. Don't get me started on the state of comic books lately. It will just get morbid and shitty.
Well, yeah, especially after that thread you put in VG, but we will get into that.
But it could be worse. You could be watching TNA Impact right now, like I am.
Why would you do that?
And Taryn Terrell just won the Women's Championship off of Havoc.
I don't even know who those people are.
Drew Galloway's ex-wife. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Nope, I'm not going to care.
No wonder she got upset at him.
I believe I'm next news bit here.
I've got it. Former diva Carly Maxine Perez claims that Oksana stole her look, an idea to seduce Teddy Long, and that she was then told to advise her on the character. Comedian Thea Vidal, who played Shelton Benjamin's mother for a few months in 2006, claims she was sexually harassed and that one older wrestler exposed himself to her. I didn't know Bill Cosby was a wrestler.
Stop. No. You know who it was? And I'm willing to put money on this. I bet you it was Michael Hayes.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez.
I would put money on it. Michael Hayes is the person she's talking about.
That damn dirty free bird.
Fucking Michael P.S. Hayes. That is official Ruger serious kayfabe now that Michael P.S. Hayes goes around whipping his cock out at old women. If I may continue, though. If I may continue, she claims that she was sexually harassed. One wrestler exposed herself to her. Rapper Wale is planning a wrestling show in New York City next year and is being advised by Paul Heyman. Hopefully Paul Heyman does not have the purse strings because that will not end well for Wale. Billy Jack Haynes told TMZ he contracted hepatitis C from his WWF career and that they encouraged cocaine and steroid use. Also, Chael Sonnen recently debuted his podcast and claims that he was offered $5 million to join WWE while he was still with the UFC. I don't know if I believe that.
That doesn't surprise me.
$5 million?
No, he's lying.
How do you know he's lying?
I've only seen
that's what he does.
That's too much.
It wouldn't. I'm not saying they didn't offer him a deal at some point, but offering him that much money at the time when he was in UFC and everything,
right.
I think he's probably that's a put on probably.
But he doesn't sound like Vince.
But it does if you think about it for a second. There, how much time do you think that contract was for? $50 million? I bet you anything it was 5 years or longer. Or $5 million? I bet you it was 5 years or longer. No. Which would be you know, in line with anything else. Anybody else's contracts that would be, you know, there.
And $1 million a year.
That's what Cena gets. Lesnar gets. It's what Del Rio got. It's what Mysterio got. It's what Orton gets. And they pushed Chael to the moon. Because, well, I mean, Chael Sonnen, he's a really good talker, and he's got that MMA fame to him. So, it wouldn't surprise me at all that was true.
So, one of my old favorites, Billy Jack Haynes, got Hep C, and they told him, oh, a little cocaine and steroid use, that'll clear that right up now, won't it? Jeez.
Truth's probably somewhere in the middle, It was a crazy time back in the day.
Yeah, I don't see WWF official policy being, hey guys, go use cocaine. But, Vince is walking down the hall, and he sees it, and he's like, hey kid, let's go to the back and snort some coke.
I want you to look at the quote, look at the source. TMZ, cocaine, and drugs. You can just completely disregard everything that's being said.
Somehow I missed that.
We're talking Gawker here. Yeah.
The thing that I think is really cool, actually, is Wale doing the thing with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's on as an advisory role. No, he's not touching the books, but he is. They're looking to start a new promotion in New York City, which should be interesting, because there's not 100 of those already. And
I'll tell it to you like this, real quick. I would not have Paul Heyman have anything to do with money or the books, but put him in charge of creative of my wrestling organization, and I don't see how it can lose.
Pretty much. Alright, so we're going to get into this last little bit of news. Mick Foley revealed he had to turn down an offer to play Santa Claus in Fox's New Girl because the role called for a sleazy Santa. His November 23rd comedy show in Brooklyn will be filmed for TV. Billy Corgan announced he has left Resistance Pro, but that the company will still exist. They have a show on January 9th in the Chicago area, so go check them out still. Let's see here. Daniel Radcliffe, yeah, that's right, Harry fucking Potter, revealed he learned an American accent from being a wrestling fan and giving his WWE action figures the proper voices.
That's pretty fucking cool.
It is.
Hello, Wingardium Leviosa. Damn.
The Royal Rumble event in Philadelphia is already sold out. Hell in the Cell, for the first time in 20 years that two WWE superstars under the age of 30 main event in the pay-per-view. First time in 20 years. Think about that.
That is so fucking sad.
WGN announced Wrestling with Death, a docu-series about the Latham family in Osceola, Arkansas, who run the Wilson Funeral Home by day and Mid-Southern Championship Wrestling League by night, premiering January 15th.
Oh, I've never heard of that. Have you guys? Mid-South or Mid-Southern?
It's probably some shindy. In Arkansas, but and they do the Paul Bearer thing, and it's going to be on WGN, so it's going to be bad.
I saw a commercial for it the other night, and it does look pretty goofy. They've got like this 12-year-old kid who's part of the family who's like talking to the mourners and then handing them a flyer for the wrestling show and saying he's a wrestler, and so it looks pretty goofy in that style of sort of Southern family reality show that's come up, but it also looks kind of interesting, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm just looking forward to a new. Wait a minute, it's on WGN, so I can't watch it anyway.
That's it. I mean, we can talk about the Foley thing, and I love Foley, but this isn't really a thing, and nobody who's been a fan of Foley for more than 5 minutes could possibly be surprised by this.
True. One more quick thing. Is Resistance Pro Wrestling any good? I haven't seen it, and I've been meaning to get to it, but...
They're the company that had the deal with AMC, but AMC cut all their live programming out of their budget. So they told them to go shop it around and give them their best wishes to promote their show and whatnot. So if you saw it on Destination America, you wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, okay.
Not like any wrestling show would be on something as dumb as Destination America.
Seriously, that's where they put that show with those friggin' fundies that live way out in the middle of nowhere, and they're like preppers and stuff.
Alright. I think we're done with the news. Let's do the real thing. Are you ready? Ring the bell, Yankum. Ring the goddamn bell.
You ring the bell. Why do I gotta ring the bell? I always have to ring the bell.
Ring a ding a dong dandy.
15 minutes on limit. This week we're going to be talking about Survivor Series and giving out predictions for that. So, let's start the show, shall we? So, in the pre-show, Fandango is going up against a mystery opponent. We don't know who it's going to be.
Fandango is still a thing. This exists.
Back.
He's going to be new and improved, by what I hear.
Because here's how you new dancer.
Here's how you knew and approved that. You killed the stupid fucking gimmick.
And her name is Rosa Mendez.
Yeah.
Why?
And she was in the graphic. Didn't you see?
No. Well, I don't actually watch Raw.
Gunner?
Yeah.
Who's that in the TNA ring right now with the prosthetic leg?
That's
Now you have my attention.
That's the guy who was trained. I forgot his name already. That dude was he's a vet. And he's a wrestler. And he's a guy. He's legitimate. What are you laughing at?
I'm not laughing, but the last time we seen anybody with a prosthetic leg in there was what's his name?
Zach Allen. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But this is the same kind of thing.
Okay.
Only this guy lost his in Iraq, I believe. I could be wrong though. But anyway, we were talking about
I think they should rename him Ricardo Mendez and have him basically keep the same gimmick, only put him in like a bullfighter's uniform and with a fake pencil mustache.
So what you're telling me is that he should join the Los Matadores.
You just went straight Vince there, Omega. Straight Vince.
No. He doesn't join Los Matadores. He becomes their foil. That's why he has the mustache, the penciled-on mustache, and it curls around.
The evil one. He's the evil
Right. And then he gets Hornswoggle to play his evil Torito, yes.
Full Vincent Tosh, anyway.
He's like the bad guy in that play about Carmen.
Right.
Are you talking about Carmen?
You know what his name is?
Who?
Don't.
Heath Slater.
God.
Oh. I don't know which is worse, that we've just had a Heath Slater reference or we just had an opera reference.
Oh, God.
To be fair, Heath was okay on Raw. Let's move along, though. AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella with Brie Bella. I'm calling it AJ wins when Brie fucks over Nikki somehow.
So
I think
shenanigans? Twin magic? What are we doing here?
I think it's going to be shenanigans, and you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some twin magic, and I wouldn't be surprised if exactly that happened, where it was where Nikki called for twin magic, and then Bree's got to oblige, and we got to see the awkward moment where twin magic is going to happen, and then twin magic happens, and Bree pins AJ 1, 2, 3, and then Bree's like, "It's my belt," and then Nikki's like, "No, it's mine."
They're gonna fall.
Yeah,
That'd be
probably.
interesting.
As annoying as
Did you just say?
it's probably gonna.
Did you just say that'd be interesting?
Well, they've never fought over the belt like that before. I know fellas doesn't immediately go hand in hand with each other, but
Well, I hope you step on a Lego barefoot.
That's cruel. You know what else is cruel? Alicia Fox, Emma, Natalia, and Naomi against Paige, Cameron, Layla, and Summer Rae in a traditional Survivor Series match.
What, all their contracts were up at once and they decided they had to do something with them?
Alright, so I'm looking at the balancing of this team. You've got Alicia Fox, Emma, Natalia, awesome, Naomi, okay, I kind of like Naomi. And then you've got Paige, and then you've got Cameron, and then you've got Layla, awesome, and then you've got Summer Rae,
The only thing that you have real...
No, I don't dislike Summer Rae. It's just I'm not really a fan, and I could give a shit less about Naomi or Cameron. It just seems one team is a little heavier balanced with good wrestlers than the other. Because let's be honest,
it's way too much.
You are. This is gonna go 5 minutes. And Team Total Divas is going to win. Team Actual Total.
Right.
We're all
the face.
Yeah.
The heels. Paige turns on her team and walks out.
Right.
That's pretty much it. But then we're going to get into the match we really want to see. Gold Star versus the Usos versus the Matadores versus Mizdow for the tag belts. He's put it on Mizdow. Oh, God.
Oh, and you've just gone into a coma, or you're mooing for some reason. Explain why you're mooing.
I guess
we've seen this match like 12 times now. Yeah. Can we just stop?
Please. Just put it on Mizdow, because the team that's popular seems to get the belts at some point. That's obviously Mizdow at this point. Or Mizdow, I should say. So, I mean...
Damien.
Have Damien actually break the act to actually steal a pin.
Or something like that.
And then Miz gets mad at him because he was getting beat up or something, and even though they're champions, and
I've got Mizdow going over the Matadores, and then the Usos and the spinning off to feud on their own.
It's going to be them going over the team that doesn't matter, and that would be Matadores, because nobody gives a fuck. Like, nobody. Like, I don't think even Los Matadores give a fuck about Los Matadores.
Well, I think they do, because, it's that kind of their livelihood. They kind of have to live by it. But,
right, but, I mean, I've been a gas station clerk, and that was how I made money, but that didn't mean I gave a fuck about being a gas station clerk.
Yeah. Alright, so let's get into another match. Yankum, I would like you to read verbatim what I just wrote there.
Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose. Loser keeps the baggage match.
Do I even want to know what you mean by that?
Well, it's twofold, you see, because it's baggage, like Dean Ambrose likes to bring out his survival kit or whatever it is, and have prop jokes on SmackDown and Raw, and the baggage that they come along with because of their terrible pasts.
Oh, that. Oh. I don't know. This feud is ill. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that was a net gesture level pun.
Well, all I'm going to say that this feud, in my humble but unerring opinion, was about as ill-advised as everybody says that we call it Bray Wyatt Bunny Cat is on Woo.
Why would you even think to call him Bunny Cat?
Because I saw a picture once of Madoka's Machika's Keurig dressed like Bray Wyatt, and they called him Bray Wyatt.
You're the only person on this planet who would get that. Just so you know.
I have no idea what any of that means.
I don't either. Go on.
Back to the match itself. They haven't really done much together. I'm not very as interested in this. I guess it depends on how hard hitting it is. I guess the thing of it is, either one could win, and it wouldn't really mean anything. The other one would just keep coming at him. So, I guess Wyatt wins, and then Ambrose challenges him to a gimmick match at TLC, I guess.
Well, this match story-wise does not fuck this match, but match-wise, like the actual match, I think it's probably going to be pretty fucking good. That's all I have to say about that.
It's gonna be good. I got Bray Wyatt winning. Yup, Bray Wyatt.
I have to say that all your gumps sound constipated. That's all I have to say.
Alright, you constantly sound constipated, so I guess it takes one to know one.
I just wish Matt Jester would get constipation of the mouth so that, he would finally shut the fuck up.
But that would mean we'd have to listen to his hairballs. That would be it.
It'd still be better than his words.
I could put Gus the Cat on if you want to hear about hairballs.
No, thank you. But I think the rest of the world wants to hear about is our opinion on Team Cena versus Team Authority.
The thing of it is, and I don't know if I should say this or not, the fact that we all know the stipulation is that if the Authority loses, then they're out of power. But there was actually another stipulation added that will be announced on SmackDown, and I don't know if I should say it or not.
You should.
Alright, well, if you don't want to be spoiled, then, skip ahead about 5 minutes or so, but basically Triple H announced that if Team Cena loses, they're all fired. So,
we gotta overcome those odds.
So this match that sort of was halfway telegraphed in the first place is now almost completely telegraphed.
So what you're telling me is that LOL Cena wins again? Pushing new stars. Okay, here's my question. Who's gonna be left? Is it just gonna be Cena?
I think they're gonna, and I think I say this every year, but that's because that's how predictable Survivor Series has become. The face team is going to get eliminated, and Ziggler, Rowan, Big Show, they're going to be gone, and then it'll come down to Cena and Ryback, and then they'll bounce back and eliminate Henry, Kane, Harper, and something will happen with Rusev where he doesn't get pinned. I mean, I think he'll either walk out or something.
He'll fight Big Show to the back.
Yeah, or they'll both get disqualified somehow or something.
Right. That's what Gunner's saying. They fight to the back and then they're both disqualified.
Or use a weapon, or maybe use a weapon, and then that's your excuse for a TLC, a chairs match or a tables match or something.
Yes, a chairs match between Rusev and Big Show. That's exactly what I paid $9.99 for. Oh my god!
That big giant chair that Show.
The big giant ladder, and both of them just kind of sitting on each. This is just too big.
But anyway, I can't. Let me play devil's advocate for a second and say, let's say Team Cena loses. Let's say Team Cena loses and they actually do all get fired. Problem is, that's possible, but then you'll get a stupid, they show up to defy authority anyway, they'll show up till they get their jobs back, they'll attack them. Same thing that happened when Cena got fired after he lost that match. Or after he counted that match, rather, during the whole Nexus thing. So, and again, it would be really stupid and pointless, but, it's not like they're above it, so.
You got that right.
Otherwise, it'll be Cena's team winning, obviously. And then, for this being the, quote, first ever free WWE pay-per-view, it really is funny how just almost none of the matches are very interesting, and they even threatened half the main event being gone until they came out at the end of Raw, and there's only been like 5 matches announced, which is not very many.
Okay, right, and can you guys be completely honest with me here? Why would you want to join Team Cena? Why? Okay, so you have Dolph Ziggler, who not only basically gets, near raped on television because because of the entire Authority jumping in before the match.
I think we lost cover again.
Oh, you didn't.
Oh.
No, there he is.
No, you didn't.
Well, because you want that potential to actually get rid of the Authority. If you get rid of the Authority, then it's worth it. If not, then it's not, obviously. But
right.
But anyway, this is...
No, Omega BR.
Who wants to join Team... By the way, who wants to join Team Cena? I mean, really. What a selfish prick. Was it just me, or...
He really... Yeah, he could have helped those guys when they were getting beat up.
But that's not what Cena does.
It sounded like he had a cold in the beginning. And I was like, oh, poor Cena has the sniffles. Can't help but ziggle wiggle.
Anyway, I'll give them credit for actually making the Survivor Series match seem like a big deal for once. But again, these stupid stipulations they've attached have just made it yet another match where, it doesn't really matter what happens during the match, because all that really matters is how it's going to end.
Yeah, well, we all know how it ends. Only Cena is left, and there's like 3 guys. And then Cena eliminates the 3 guys on the other team, overcomes the odds, and he wins. And then poor Steph and Hitch are sent tail between the legs for a little while, and then they manage to come back and do stuff to get their revenge or whatever. Nobody cares.
At the end of the day, At the end of the day, it's gonna be. At the end of the day, it's gonna be Cena wins, and Cena prevails, and the Authority is out of power. At least that's the easy angle. However, since I'm feeling particularly Russo-ish right now, and since I've been...
God help us.
Aw. But I was going to get into my big conspiracy theory about how Cena's going to come back.
Oh, for the love of fuck, no. No. Because anytime the theories come and they involve Sting, you get to 9/11 truther levels of crap that I don't want to hear.
I forgot to give my bold prediction.
Alright, we'll do some bold predictions.
Let's hear it.
Alright, bold prediction. John Cena turns on his team and takes his rightful place as leader of the Authority.
It was me, everybody. It was me all along.
Now, wait a minute. I actually have some backup for this. Think about all the things the Authority offered his teammates to not be on his team. The power, the money, the Hall of Fame spot, the relevance, the guaranteed main event, the title shot, the guaranteed main event status. Cena's not a young man anymore.
By the way,
think about...
hold on a second. Before you keep going, I would like to remind everyone that because Sheamus won that match by disqualification, he now has a shot at Brock Lesnar's championship.
Don't want that to happen.
Royal Rumble,
Can I shoot a hole in your theory there real quick on where we are? Because all of those things that you described, the accolades and the money and the prestige and the place in the Hall of Fame, not only are these things that John Cena already has, but things that don't matter to John Cena, because all that matters to him is that little Jimmy Johnson in the crowd, who's fighting off leukemia,
Maybe
is here to see him wrestle. And never gives up.
He doesn't want to be remembered as the Fruity Pebbles flapjack that everyone thinks he is. You know, he Rock and Austin, they both turned heel at some point. They both affirmed that.
Omega BR, if John Cena turns heel at this pay-per-view, I will drink my own piss.
Oh shit! Oh my god! You are gonna regret that. You're gonna regret that.
And he'll feud with Randy Orton when he comes back, and he'll feud with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. And
oh my god!
You realize, you incandescent whack-a-mole, you realize, of course, that if that actually happens, we will hold you to it, even if we have to come to your house.
It's not gonna happen. There's no fucking way that John Cena will turn heel. Not right now.
But you gotta understand though. Okay, look.
Hogan was like 50 before he turned heel.
We're all going over the time limit here, but I'm going to put it to you this way. This pay-per-view is going to have the most eyes on it possible because it is a free pay-per-view. It is the first time in WWE history that this is a free pay-per-view. So if you're sitting here and telling me that something swerve-tastic isn't going to happen at this particular pay-per-view to make you tune into Monday Night Raw the next night, I will not drink my own piss. But I will see what I did there? There's something swerve-tastic is going to happen.
I don't see it.
I can almost guarantee it.
Not that.
Enough. But you know what I need? We need to cool off. We need to chill out.
Yeah.
You want to do some Dairy Queen?
Let's do... I don't know why I buzzed you.
I don't know why you buzzed me either, but okay, this is all on NetJester. This one's all on NetJester tonight. No, he's saying.
Oh yeah. Okay. Ratings.
You're doing ratings. Yes.
All right. So the ratings, final numbers for the last night's episode of Impact. Impact was just on tonight. That should be last week. Who's formatting this? Anyway, last week's Impact numbers are in. The event drew a household rating of 0.84. That's an increase from last week's rating of 0.75. Jesus Christ. As reported earlier, which it wasn't here, but somebody forgot to edit the format, 970,000 viewers was the average, compared to the previous week's 930,000. That was the highest rating Impact had scored since October 8th. Last Friday night SmackDown broadcast for a final 1.93 game rating, up from the previous week's 1.86. And Raw drew a 2.75, which is even with last week's number.
And with the birthdays, NetJester.
And we have 3 weeks to look forward to, being we were gone. And yes, as per usual, watch out for dead people and sexual deviants that don't exist. Going all the way back to the 5th, we had no birthdays. But then on the 6th of November, we had Magnus. And then on the 7th, the legendary King Kong Bundy and Joey Ryan. Then on the 8th, we had none other than the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Wait a minute. Did somebody just put that Junior in there? Oh, it's starting already, folks. No, that's Ted DiBiase Jr. And then also on the 8th, we have Maximo. Then on the 9th...
Can I just point out... We're freaking out over the real names.
Yes. So far, so bad.
Ted DiBiase Jr. is a real person.
Yes, I know that. And I also know that Junior appeared out of nowhere. Anyway, moving on the 9th, we have Y2J himself, Chris Jericho, Nick Patera, and Mike Oxensider. I'd like some cider right now, but just apple cider. I don't know about oxing cider. I think that's a chemical. I might be wrong. Anyway, to continue on the 10th, we have Dave Christ, Katie Lee, none other than one of my personal favorites, Jushin Thunder Liger, Bill DeMott, also known as the Laughing Man Hugh Morris, the original cowboy Bob Orton, and the big man himself, who you must feed more, Ryback. Then on the
it's the big guy. The big guy, not the big man, the big guy.
Man, guy, potato. Let's call the whole thing off. Anyway, on the 11th,
I wish we could.
Crystal Marshall and Van Hammer. Then jumping to the 12th, we have Trent Acid, Mac, oh boy, Capolonte, is that right?
No, not even close.
Well, I like the way Gunner said it, so I'm going with that. Then we have Disco Inferno, Electra, and Lena Yada. Then on the 13th, we have Sarah Del Rey and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Not bad.
Oh, shit, you got that one.
I can't believe he was able to pronounce that.
I just go slow from now on and not run through it like Yosemite Sam. Anyway, Albert on the 14th. Now, is that Prince Albert, Jason Albert?
That's Albert, the guy who's on commentary right now, who was Tensai.
Yes, that's Prince Albert. Okay. Then on the 15th, we have Cima. Cima. Okay. That's the one on me. Anyway, and of course, the one and only legendary Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. Then on the 16th, we have Ama Dumas. Ama Dumas? I don't know. I guess we should be just lucky I didn't pronounce it dumbass. Anyway, on the 17th, we have Jay Bradley and Willie Mammoth. If he's any relation to Woolly Mammoth, he's probably got a nice fur coat and he doesn't mind all this cold weather. On the 18th, we have Teo-K. You know, that sounds like something I did back in high school. Anyway, moving right along, we have Big Ron Studd to close out that week on the 18th. Then quickly, on the 19th, we have the one and only First Lady of Wrestling, Miss Elizabeth. On the 20th, we have Serelda? Okay. On the 21st, we have the Bella Twins, Brie and Nikki. And my burp, which is probably more interesting than the Bella Twins. Then we have Shane.
Did you at least excuse yourself? That's very rude.
My phone's ringing. Anyway, to finish this up real quick, Shane Douglas, then Ryota Hama, Casey Riley, Shingo Takahaki, Wild Samoa. While I'm running through here, hang on for 1 second. Anybody want to take this? Okay.
Lash LaRue.
Okay.
Terry Cloth.
Yeah. On the 22nd, we have Lash LaRue, then Terry Cloth. On the 23rd, we have El Indigo and Taylor McCarthy. Then Koei Sumahara and Snooki. Why is Snooki on this list?
Why can you not?
WrestleMania. She was also at WrestleMania.
Anyway, on the 24th, we have Beth Phoenix, then Barry Makaki. I think
I'm sorry.
That's a Native American name. Then on 25th, we have Josh Matthews, and now I'm going to mute my microphone for a couple of minutes.
I'm sorry, Gunner. I ruined that one.
I'm a pervert. Good night.
What a whack-a-mole.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize I'd left my mic on, but when I did, it was too late. But that one, Barry McCockner. Well played, sir.
And now it is time for This Week in Wrestling with Omega BR.
Yes, This Week in Wrestling History. Circa 1906, where Clarence Weber defeats Batan Singh for the Australian heavyweight title in Melbourne, Australia. Jump 80 years to 1986, where Lance Von Erich and the Dingo Warrior, who was in fact the Ultimate Warrior, defeat Matt Bourne and Master G, subbing for Buzz Sawyer to win the World Class Championship Wrestling Tag Team title in Fort Worth, Texas. And in 1989, Bill Dundee defeats Tony Anthony for the USWA Southern Heavyweight title in Memphis, Tennessee, the first of 4 reigns for Dundee. And that is your This Week in Wrestling History.
I got a couple happy trails here. A serious one for your first. NWA Central States promotion head Bob Geigel passed away at 90. My condolences to his family and friends and coworkers and anybody who was affected by this loss. And then happy trails to the counterfeiters after a judge in New Orleans ruled that WWE can seize their merchandise. And then happy trails. Oh my God! This isn't on a list, but I have to tell you all about this one.
Wow.
Happy trails to our wonderful favorite Tamara Sunny Stitch. Miss Stitch.
Oh God.
Miss Stitch, former WWE diva,
What's the Stitch?
resorts to selling herself on Skype. The following customers for the Skype adventures with Stitch. Hey, I'll be Skyping tonight after 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's $10 for every 4 minutes of regular chat, $50 for 10 minutes with some skin, $100 for 10 minutes to see a whole lot more. Let me see if you're interested, and I'll give you payment info. Once payment comes through, I'll contact you and set up a time. It's a lot of fun, and you can do whatever you want on your end. 10 XOXO.
Well, financially, I hope this works out for her, but she'd probably just make more money if she went pro.
Okay, just be completely honest with me here. Now, Jester, I hear the reaction in the back of your head, and it says, shut up and take my money.
Oh, yeah, I have some standards. Not many of them, but some standards.
I'll be honest with you, you're quite good at doing that Live Links voice.
Well, I had practice. A lot of practice. Don't you remember episode 69?
Oh, yeah, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Shucky your ducky and quack the quack.
So that's it for Happy Trails, and I think that's what should we watch this week in wrestling. Oh boy, who am I going to pick on this week? Yankum DDS, of course.
Well, because I knew you were going to do that, I would say you should watch Survivor Series 2006 when it was the team of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, CM Punk, and the Hardyboys defeating Edge, Randy Orton, Johnny Nitro, and Greg Helms and Mike Knox.
Yeah, Jester, what should we watch this week in wrestling?
Well, just going off of my DVD collection once again, the legendary Extreme Championship Wrestling Bloodsport DVD, and I want to make particular attention to the legendary match where Bill Alfonso lost about 6 pints of blood, at least that's what everybody says. The intergender match from As Good As It Gets versus Beulah McGillicuddy.
And Omega BR.
I'm going to suggest Survivor Series 2001, which was actually the culmination of the Invasion storyline, the Team WWF versus Team Alliance, for who would stay and who would leave. And they also had the Immunity Battle Royal between all of the undercard guys to see who would be allowed a contract regardless of which company won.
Well, who won that one? Well. Seriously, like, what the fuck? Okay. So this week in wrestling, you guys should all pick up the new Macho Man DVD and the new documentary about his life and about his story and whatnot, because it includes all these great stories from people about Macho Man Randy Savage, and you know how much of a mark I am for Macho. So go for that. East of the Pacific Ocean.
In the danger zone east of the Pacific Ocean, west of London, England, south of Mars, and north of hell.
I mean, why not play the whole thing?
Why not?
Exactly. And especially the one Jake the Snake Roberts with the first time that Macho Man got bit by the snake.
That was a funny story. So yeah, if you want that story and many, many more, you should check out the new Macho Man DVD. Also check out House of Hardcore for that Del Rio entrance, because that was sweet. And is there anything else wrestling that I watched that I really like this week? Oh yeah, Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground is amazing. Go watch that too, because it is quite possibly one of my favorite wrestling television shows of all time. And that's saying a lot. So, thank you all for listening. I think that's it. So we're going to wrap up here, and we're going to do some plugs. SmarkSnark.com, as always. You can check us out there for, podcasts and other stuff. You can check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/SmarkSnark. We have all of our podcasts there. Facebook.com/SmarkSnark is like the redheaded stepchild, completely ignored and underused of our Facebook feed. And then there's SmarkSnark on Twitter. Twitter.com/SmarkSnark, where Yankum and I occasionally tweet on Sunday and Monday. I might be tweeting this Sunday. Yankum might be tweeting as well.
I'll probably do it, but in protest, because I'm sure I'm going to hate it.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure you are. So, thank you all for listening. And I would like to wish you all the best in your past, present, and future endeavors.
That's right, we just fired our audience.
Good night, New York City, and have a happy and safe Black Friday.